Hi guys, welcome back to the Good Store Homestead, and let's talk turkey babies and the garden. All right? All right, you guys. So you can see our turkey brooder set up here in our living room floor. Hi, Shifra. This is my little dog, Shifra, and we have several cats in the house, so that's why there is a baby gate over the top of this tote, because you can see Angus there. He's very interested in the baby turkeys. And we also have a towel over the top. We kind of spread that out over the top. It helps hold the heat in a little bit better, so it provides a little insulation. But you can see, Emer, stay away. But you can see our older turkey poults in here hopping around on top of the feeder and the waterer. They are 2 weeks old now, and our hens outside have started to have their eggs hatch. So we have 5 new babies in here from what our hens outside, our turkey hens, have hatched outside. Now, the reason we brought them in is because we have realized that our setup for our hens outside is not the best setup for when the babies start to hatch, because the nest boxes are a little bit elevated off the ground, and we've already discovered these babies are less than 48 hours old, and what we began to discover is that they were actually falling out of the nest, and then they couldn't get back into the nest, and they were getting too cold. And the mamas have no way of getting them back into the nest. So what we've done is we've started pulling the babies when they hatch. Now, the mamas are doing a good job. It's got nothing to do with the mamas themselves. They're doing a good job. It's just that our setup out there is not the best. So once they've hatched all the eggs that they're sitting on outside and we've pulled those babies in, what we're actually going to do is we're going to take the nest boxes that we have in there out. We're going to clean everything out, and then we're going to put in a different style nest box, one that's closer to the ground. And that was Nut Nut that you just saw in the background. But we're going to do that so that the nest boxes can be closer to can be on the ground for the mamas and the babies, and that way if babies get out of the nest, they can get back into the nest and stay warm. But since we have these guys, we have 5 new babies in there that have been born. These were born yesterday, and I pulled them out this morning. Because we left them out there to see how the mamas would do, and I found more of them out of the nest and couldn't get back in, so I was like, let me just pull all of them and bring them inside. Now, it's okay. They should be fine with their older siblings in here. And we have also sold more babies. A cousin of ours who is raising heritage poultry birds. He was interested because these are bourbon reds, and they are a heritage breed. That's one of the reasons why we picked them, was because they were a heritage breed, and we wanted to be able to preserve this breed. So we are raising up bourbon reds, and so we're doing great. Also, what we are talking about doing is once the hens hatch out all the eggs that they're going to hatch out, then what we're talking about doing is cleaning everything out, putting in new nest boxes and things like that, and then doing one more run of eggs in our new incubator. And we had good success rate with our first incubator because that's how we got all of our first ones. But I didn't exactly like the setup too much, just because I could not, I had no way of knowing what the humidity was in the incubator, and 2, I found that one really hard to control. The temperature wanted to fluctuate quite a bit, and that made me nervous. And because I could not judge the humidity with that incubator, I just really wanted to be able to do that. Now, I've heard that you can dry hatch or dry incubate without any kind of water hooked up to the incubator. I've never done that. I need to do some more research on that to see if that's even a thing. And yes, my face is red because I am hot. I've been out in the garden this morning. I've been really busy this morning, so my face is all red. So no worries there. This is completely normal for me. I pick on people and I tell them I guess that's just the Irish blood. But anyway, let's go outside and see the garden. Alright, so here we are at one end of the garden, and yes, this area right here does have pumpkin seeds planted in it, and I'll get to those in just a minute. I don't know how well you can see everything from this angle, so we'll walk that way so that you can see everything we've planted, but this is our garden space, you guys. It's huge, and I'm very thankful for my uncle bringing his tractor over and tilling all of this up for us. But yes, this area right here I did plant pumpkin seeds in. I did not have any rhyme or reason to where I planted them. I just had the seeds and I was just like, I'm just gonna see what I can do. So what I did is in this rounded area right here, I just walked around, dug a hole, put a few seeds, covered them up. Walked a little bit further, dug a hole, put some seeds, covered them up. So we'll just see. It's my experiment with our pumpkins this year. And we did plant a jack-o'-lantern variety of pumpkins. We don't do anything with Halloween though, so we won't be making any jack-o'-lanterns or anything. But the reason we plant the pumpkins is we use them for our animals as an internal parasite cleanse. And they are also great for humans for the same purpose, but I also have recently found out through some research that they would be very helpful for me for my hormone issue that I have. And so we're gonna incorporate some pumpkins. I wanted to see because the last time we had pumpkins grow in our raised garden beds, they were completely voluntary, and we ended up with them because we had fed pumpkin to our rabbits back in the fall, and we had given them the pumpkin seeds and all of that as a parasite cleanse, and then we took the rabbit poop and put it in our raised beds the next spring, and I ended up not putting anything in that raised bed, and the next thing I knew we had something growing out of it, and I'm like, what is this? All I did was put rabbit poop in here, and sure enough it was pumpkin from the pumpkin seeds that we had given the rabbits the fall before. So those pumpkins were completely involuntary, and we actually had enough pumpkins come from that we had some for all of our animals to have. So that this end of the garden is my pumpkin experiment, where I didn't plant in rows. I had no pattern or plan. I just went around, dug holes, put some pumpkin seeds in, and we'll see how it does. So let's walk this way and I'll show you the rest of the garden. Now, I tried a couple of things this year that I have never done before. And we're having to walk under a big oak tree. I have no idea what effect this tree will have on this end of the garden. That's part of the experiment too. Now, the first thing I planted was some Cherokee glass gem corn, and some sunflowers, and a variety of yellow corn on the other end, and that's that whole back row. We are having some of the corn come up, but not as much as I would like, and I think part of that might be because those seeds were old. I had them for a couple of years, but we'll see. We'll see what happens there, and it could just be that we're not getting enough rain, and they're not getting enough water, which is on me, and we're learning. We're learning. So the first row, and I also planted some Cherokee Trail of Tears black beans here, and they take a little bit longer to come up. So I'm leaving them alone. I'm seeing what comes out of that. I've had those seeds for a little while too, so there's not much to show as far as the beans. We'll see if they do anything. Now, this first row that we're coming up on, these are a pickling variety of cucumber. I just planted these this morning. I had planted a pickling variety of cucumber seeds, but none of them came up. And I was like, I really need to get something here if we're going to have cucumbers. So this first row that you see here is our pickling cucumbers that I just planted this morning. And I have a whole row, and then next weekend I will work on putting a trellis in because they're going to need something to grow up to get those cucumbers off the ground, because we have found that works best is if we can get those cucumbers up off the ground. And then it'll also keep them from spreading into everything else that I've planted. So let's go to the next one. I also planted some, I think it was Great Lake bush green beans, but none of them are showing any signs of coming up, so I just put the cucumbers there instead. And that's okay. It's okay that our green beans aren't coming up, or a few of them might still pop up. That's okay, because I know where I can get us some green beans by the bushel for a pretty reasonable price if we want to go that route. So our next row that we're coming up on, I hope you can see that too really good because the light is kind of weird out here and I'm having a hard time seeing when we get this hazy light. But anyway, so these are my rainbow sweet bell peppers. I absolutely love bell peppers. I like cooking with them. I like eating them raw. They're really, really good. So these are our sweet rainbow bell peppers. Let me see if I can turn it so you can see. Okay, there we go. So that's them. And we've got 2 full rows of those. The next thing that we come up on is our crookneck squash. So that's what these are. And so we have 1 full row of these. And the reason I did these this way is because they need 1 square foot for each plant. They need a lot of space. So I did 1 single row of them and I made sure that they got the space they needed because these plants will get very big. And we love the yellow crookneck squash. We love to fry it up with some okra. We love frying it up by itself. So we really like the crookneck Reala squash, which brings us to our next 2 rows. If you can see them right here, this is okra. Off the top of my head, I can't remember what variety of okra because I have already forgotten, but we planted the 2 rows of okra, so we should have plenty of okra this year, which brings us to our next row, which is, and I hope you can see that. Again, the light's a little weird out here and it's hard for me to see my screen, but this is zucchini. So we have a row of zucchini. We like eating zucchini, but I've never grown zucchini before. One of my sisters, I think, has grown zucchini before, so I really need to give you guys a rundown of what varieties these are. But this is zucchini, so that should be good. And then we get to all the tomatoes. We love tomatoes. So these 2 rows of tomatoes right here that you can see, these are, let me see if I can get it better. These are early girl tomatoes, and they should produce first, hence the name early girl. But that's these, and then I have some over here that are kind of a mixed variety. Mixed varieties. There's like 3 different varieties in this row. All at the very back, I have 6 big beef tomato plants, and then the next 6 plants are Mountain Pride variety, and then I've got 6 of the Cherokee Purples. The Cherokee Purples I planted later than the other 2 varieties, so the Cherokee Purple are still kind of small, but that's okay. So you can see how much space I have given each row. So here you go. Now you can really see it behind me. You can see all of the plants that I've put in on this end. Now, we do have this section over here, but I'm not going to plant anything in this corner. And the reason is because water likes to gather on this side. So we really need to kind of smooth things out a little bit better, bring some of that dirt back in to fill in the holes and everything. And this is also right about where I wanted my greenhouse to go. So that's another reason why I didn't plant anything over here yet. So there you go. Also, because we still have a few of the raised beds over here, this is another part of the pumpkin experiment. I have, let me turn this way. So I have, sorry if I am making you motion sick, let me stretch this out so you can see it better. So if you look behind me, I have this raised bed. This raised bed was one that I was trying to move up towards the house so that we could start using them for herb beds, but I couldn't get it up by myself, so it's just kind of down here. And I decided, I was like, you know what, it's down here, I'm going to use it. So I cleaned it out a little bit better, and I have actually planted pumpkins in this bed, and we'll see how they do. So that's the garden this year, and I hope you have enjoyed the garden tour. Our goat babies are doing good. Our turkey babies, now that we've moved them inside under the heat lamp and all, they're doing good. Everybody's doing good. So I just wanted to do this quick garden tour and show you our new turkey babies in the house, and we hope that you have a wonderful upcoming week, a wonderful Saturday. We've got some rain moving in this afternoon, which will be great for the garden, and then we'll update you in the next video. All right, see you next time. Bye.